Hello there, and welcome to a Bignosie Discusses. It's a bit like one of my shorts, but I just wanted to do a bit of a discussion on mental health. Now, this is obviously quite a touchy subject for some people, so if you don't want to listen, by all means don't. But it is, as I said, just a sort of little discussion to touch on something that's very dear to me. And I have first-hand experience in. So it's something that I kind of know about, but I would no way, shape, or form say I'm an expert. Um, what sort of got me to do this today was that it was on the news where I saw that I think it was 4 in every 10 men don't or are currently suffering from mental health problems, issues. Um, Terminology. I don't like terminology that labels it a bit like that, but there's nothing better to really describe it. I've done a little research and found that more women are sort of diagnosed with mental health than men. But I think that's because women have a natural ability to be able to talk about these things. Men don't really discuss them. We just sort of hide it. Unfortunately, as if you hide mental health illnesses and sort of don't try to get help in the beginning or anything, they just get worse, just like any other sort of illness or anything like that. Um, if you don't sort of try to seek assistance or understanding, then yeah, it kind of gets worse and worse and worse. Our mental health, the term mental health, covers a whole range. And absolute, I mean, the umbrella that it covers is amazing. There are, I think I read over 200 different forms of mental health diagnoses. So it's a huge range. And it it's um, it's a difficult subject to approach. When I was growing up, it didn't really kind of, I wouldn't say it didn't exist, but it wasn't really discussed. It wasn't something that people openly talked about, and in a way, it was kind of ridiculed, and you know, there's a lot of stigma attached to mental health illnesses. Luckily, as we've sort of progressed through the years, that has changed. That it is more openly spoken about now. There is more sort of research done on it, and a lot of charities and help is out there for people who are struggling. Um, the thing is, though, is that I think that stigma is still there, which is kind of what prevents people as well from coming forward and saying they're struggling with something. There's a lot of sort of, we still have the oh, we can do it ourselves, we can get through, oh, there's nothing really wrong with me sort of attitude. But unfortunately, with mental health, it isn't something that you can do alone. It isn't something that you can just get through. It's something that you do need help with. Um, Even if it's just talking to somebody, that is like the key factor. And I know it's a cliche, and it's a really big cliche, but talking does help. It is really one of the only ways to understand mental health illnesses. Um, People who kind of bottle it up and keep bottling up their sort of the problem and the issue, eventually the bottle explodes, and that can be really destructive. Now, not everybody around you when you try to speak to people will understand. It's unfortunately it's the nature of the beast. People who haven't really struggled with certain types of mental health won't understand, and it's not because they don't care, and it's not because they they don't want to understand. It's more to do with the fact that it's difficult to understand. Um, Most of the people who suffer from sort of mental health illnesses don't understand themselves. So if you don't understand something completely yourself, trying to explain it to somebody else, they can't understand. So yeah, it's not a nice sort of illnesses to have. And as I said, the stigma and the things that still kind of attached to mental health illnesses, the sort of denial by some that it doesn't exist, um, you know, all prevent people from actually seeking assistance. Now, there are lots and lots and lots of good charities out there, to maybe talk to, obviously, GPs and health professionals, speak to them because obviously they understand a proportion of these things. But I mean, one of the key things to remember, is that you're not actually alone. You're never alone, when it comes to things like this. It may feel that way. It may feel like you're really struggling, and people around you, if you haven't sort of opened up, might not really grasp that you're struggling. They may see a change in your attitude or a change in your behaviour, and then they react to that change, which can also be a negative reaction. But if you sort of haven't spoken to them and explained the situation, then it can cause a more negative effect on your own health, as well as like your change can sometimes be so dramatic that it has an effect on the people around you, their health and things. So sometimes they may go off and protect themselves, and it's difficult. It's very, very difficult to open up and talk to people, to try and get through the shame. Sometimes it's things like that, how you feel about yourself and how you feel other people will react to you if you do open up. It's scary. It really is scary. But I would have to say, try to overcome the fear when you realise there's a possible problem, because if the problem expands and does get worse, and issues really do build up, the backlash or the fallout of that can be even worse. Not just for you, but for the people around you, because then it's such a complex issue. It really is, and I'm trying not to belittle it, because, as I said, I have first-hand experience of it. I'm not obviously trying to tell anybody what to do or how to act, because there isn't one size fits all when it comes to mental illness. Everybody is different. Every treatment that is out there might be different for every single person. Even two people with the same diagnosis may find treatment or comfort in two completely different things, because we are all individuals, and the way we act and the way we behave towards things is all individual. So if you do seek help and seek advice, and you do try to sort of progress and understand, if a treatment fails, if a treatment doesn't, well, it's not really failure, if a treatment doesn't produce what you expect, or you find the treatment very difficult to understand or to cope with, don't be disheartened. There will be other treatments that you will find. I myself understand this very well. It's about finding your balance. What is right for you? What brings you the calmness or the peace that you need, to help progress. Now, with mental illness, there is no cure. It cannot be cured. And if you sort of suddenly take medication and you think, wow, I should be better now, it should be fine, everything should be all right. Somebody I knew had the same medication and they were fine. Don't, that's a slippery path to go down, because you can't judge yourself on other people's progression. Their lives are different to yours. They create, they may have been able to cope with something that you can't cope with. And it's not a bad thing, it's just unfortunately life. There's a lot of, I don't know, differences, and we all act differently to different situations. For example, I'll give you my personal example with treatment. Now, I remember that there was sorts of different treatments you go to, and one of the things is that you have to like picture a nice scenery and stuff like that in your head. Now, I personally don't get this because I can't do it. I don't know why I can't picture like a nice meadow, a rolling leaves in the trees, a nice breeze as the meadow sort of sways gently, nice sunny day with light fluffy clouds and all that. I can talk about it and I can say it, but I can't picture it in my head. Now, one of the sort of treatments is, picture this place, a calm place, a nice place when you're feeling stressed and stuff like that. But that to me, it doesn't work. I don't get that. Whereas for other people, it may work. They may be able to do this, take themselves to this nice, peaceful, quiet, safe place, and then they can cope. And whatever has maybe stressed them or worked them up, they're able to calm themselves and things like that. Whereas me, I can't do that. It doesn't work. So I had to find something else that worked. Now I like drawing, so I might go into a drawing phase, or playing games and stuff like that. I might do that. So it's what you find that works for you to be able to bring yourself into where you feel is a calm, a normal type of sort of state, I suppose. Now, I don't like the word normal because normal is different again for everybody. But again, a language doesn't really allow us to be able to express certain things certain ways. What else is there? It's kind of really a lot of what I wanted to say. Sort of basically trying to hopefully show that there is understanding out there if you are struggling. To hopefully show you that you're not alone, that there are people who may not know 100% what you're going through, but may be able to sort of help you go through it, help guide you. Right, so anyway, so I just wanted to sort of touch on that, as I said, just to hopefully, I don't want people to be alone when it comes to issues with this sort of thing. I don't want people to think that they're alone. I know I'm only one person, and okay, I'm on YouTube, but I'm not really a very big YouTuber. But it's something that is really, really dear to my heart. And if I can just sort of, maybe help one person, give one person a little bit of advice, and make their day a little bit brighter, help them maybe understand a little bit of what they're going through, then that's good, and I think that's great. I like to use my experiences to help other people, so maybe they don't have to experience it. But the biggest thing, the absolutely biggest thing, the one core thing that I could sort of say, the advice I could give, is talk to somebody. Find somebody who you trust, who doesn't judge, who won't judge. I don't think people would really judge you if that's somebody that truly cares, because they'll want to help you. They will want to help you through it, and be there for you, be the person who you think that who you deserve. And that's the other thing, is that you deserve to be a happy, happy person. You deserve to be able to go for your dreams and go for your hopes. So yeah, I just, I don't know. It just sort of played on my mind, so I thought I'd, do this. Um, as I said, yeah. So basically, I don't know. At the end of the day, I think the way to start is to talk, and work it out from there. To be honest, be more open. Um, be understanding. If you're not somebody who suffers, but somebody who comes to you, because they suffer, be understanding. Be there. Um, understand that there may be very, very trying times, but with perseverance, with some work, you know, balance will be found again. Um, I think that's what we're all looking for. We're looking for balance. Um, but yeah, so okay, I think I'll leave it there. For anybody who listened, thanks very much. I know it was a bit of a, it's quite in depth, well, quite deep, and a bit wishy-washy here and there. But thanks very much for listening, and be safe to each other, be kind to each other, and just in generally, be safe. Farewell, farewell, people.